Did y'all know anybody that drinks is on the drinking spectrum? There's a full gamut of what's called now alcohol use disorder or dependency, and it fluctuates maybe throughout your life, and it's a highway that is going one way. But I want you to know that restriction actually increases desire. So that's why we've got to focus on what we're gaining, not what we're losing. And I think it'd be really fun in the comments below here. If you started putting in the chat or in the comments, what are some things that you gain when you skip the drink? Not what do you lose? Of course, you can lose the hangover, the weight gain, the 3 a.m. wake up call. You can lose all of that. That's fine. But what are you actually gaining when you stay present in your own body? You follow through with your intentions from morning to night. For me, I was like, there was sober-minded Jen, and that was the daytime Jen. And then there was the mindless sipping Jen, and that was the evening Jen. And it was like two different people. It was like, where did she go? Have y'all ever felt that way? I used to feel that way, like super mindful, super responsible, super all day long. And then in the evening, it was like, okay, don't deprive me now. I deserve it. And it's really what we're trying to do is change the reward. So restriction increases anxiety, desire, and what you resist tends to persist. And that's why when we resist, we try to deny, suppress, versus looking at it, bringing it in closer and getting curious. Y'all, that's actually what I did 9 years ago, back in 2017. I had been trying to change my relationship with alcohol by resisting it. I got to tell you, it did not work because from age 40 to 45 for me, that's 5 years of deprivation mindset trying to change my drinking. And I was miserable. I could do it. I could do like a juice cleanse, like a Whole30, like I could do it. I could do all the things. In fact, every time I quote deprived myself to get to the place I wanted to get with my drinking, which was to drink less or ultimately not at all, I was so deprived. There was so much build-up desire that, hello, oh my goodness, when the day was over at the end of the juice cleanse or the 21 days or 30 days or whatever, I had not had even a mindset shift, much less my brain getting on board. I was just like deprived, reward. And then I actually ended up drinking more. Has anybody ever done that? Tried to cut down on your drinking, had minimal success, and then gone back to drinking to celebrate the fact that you drink less, and then ended up drinking more? It's crazy. It's crazy making and very possible. What we want to do is we want to shift. We want to shift from deprivation to addition. Okay. So remember, if we're trying to resist something, we're spending a lot of our energy and effort pushing it away. And instead of trying to push something away, like a desire or a craving, what if instead we just looked at it, called it for what it is? We live in a very alcohol-centric society. If you have a craving, you're normal. If you have even a physical craving because your body is used to the dopamine hit at 5 o'clock, you're not broken, just your pattern might be. And that can be fixed. And I think that's super exciting. So instead of focusing on deprivation and what we're not doing, what if we start shifting our mindset to addition, to what we're gaining, to what we are doing? Okay, this is a totally different mindset. And this is what I started doing in 2017 when I began to have success navigating my relationship with alcohol without feeling miserable. And that is super key. So we're going to focus on what we're going to gain. Put some in the comments, put some of the things that you have gained, even if it's just for a weekend or an amount of time, or for some of you listening to me, you've been alcohol free for days, weeks, months, or years. What are some things that you have gained from being alcohol free? I've just got a few here. The list is long, y'all. I could spend a whole workshop just on the list of mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, all the things. Better sleep, That's a big one. In fact, I've worked with a lot of women who used alcohol as a sleep aid and then realized, oh, wait a minute, alcohol is actually totally wrecking my restorative sleep. Yeah, I get it. It puts us to sleep. I talk about this in the 21-day reset challenge. Did you know that about 20% of drinkers use alcohol as some kind of a nightcap, as a sleep aid? But it totally wrecks our REM sleep. It totally messes with our circadian rhythm. So once you get alcohol in its effects out of your body, which takes about 7 to 10 days, you actually start to regain that rhythm and get back into restorative sleep. Who out there doesn't love a clear morning? Okay, that is a huge win. I cannot tell you how many times when I was drinking, I woke up with so much brain fog and so much just haze over my life. It was just like, Groundhog Day. Here we go again. I wasn't going to drink last night. I ended up popping a bottle at 5 o'clock, 1 o'clock, just to have a glass in my kitchen while I was cooking. Before I know it, I just was mindless sipping through the night, plowed through the whole thing, and then woke up in the next morning for a workout class and thought, I think I'm going to have to make the next one. I was more of a 10 a.m. workout class girl. I needed to hydrate and resettle. No more. Clear mornings are awesome. And then just energy. Just energy. It has been an incredible week, a long week. There's no way I would even have the energy that I have right now talking to you real live if I had been drinking all week. I would be even more sluggish and fighting the energy. So the goal in this journey, again, if we're going to get away from deprivation mindset, the goal is to replace, not just remove. You see, you can't take alcohol out of the equation, especially if it's something you're used to, and just leave a void. So the goal is not just to remove and then feel deprived. The goal is to remove and replace with something that is healthy, that is still a reward, like good sleep, like a clear mind, like presence with your family. These are actually rewards. These are relational rewards. These are physical rewards. And guess what? Here's the good news. Your brain actually responds better to reward than restriction. So if you're anything like me, I used to think that drinking was my reward. But if you really break it down, doesn't a reward give you good things, not take from you? What kind of reward wakes you up at 3 in the morning with a dry mouth and a feeling of dread? I don't know about you, but I don't really call that a reward. It felt like a reward for the 20 minutes that I was drinking the first glass. You bet. That was a dopamine hit out of this world. It felt awesome, euphoric. And everything that goes up must come down. So there was a heavy price to be paid for that 20-minute buzz. In fact, it was what I was chasing all night long. And it was like chasing the wind. I could never get it again. So when you start focusing on what you're gaining, not what you're losing, your brain actually has something different to attach to. It has something different to focus on. What you're gaining is the reward, and it is an actual reward because it's not short-lived. To me, a reward is like a gift that keeps giving. Like a good night's sleep, girl, you're going to get the reward all the next day. With a drink, you're going to get the reward for about 30 minutes. And then it's called, I was a business major in college, it's called diminishing marginal return. What that means is after that first drink, it will not feel as good. And then you try to get there again all night long, while it just ends up taking more and more alcohol to get the same effect. That's not you broken, that's actually your brain working, because alcohol is an addictive substance. It just is. And so your brain wants you to drink more of it. The drink actually can create a thirst for itself. And so again, you're not crazy once you drink one that you want more. I would say that's actually pretty normal. And excuse me, speaking of normal, I know there's this term out there, normies, who can just have one. I started that way too. I started with just having one. And you just never know. Here's the deal, ladies. You never know when your relationship with alcohol can change based on what's going on around you. If you're a regular drinker, if you're a habitual drinker, a heavy drinker, someone that just drinks for whatever reason, when you're happy, when you're sad, when, the weather's beautiful, when there's a storm rolling in, when you think you've got it under control, like I did, all it takes is a tragedy, grief, a pandemic like COVID. Oh my gosh, how many of y'all found yourself feeling like alcohol is essential? I do not want to deprive myself of that if I'm going to be locked in my house, right? So all of these things can change your relationship with drinking at any point in time. So it is awesome when you focus on what you do want versus just on what you don't want, because you may not want to overdrink tonight, but you may down the road want more. And so what I'm saying is, when you focus on what you can have, sky's the limit when it comes to healthy choices, healthy rewards, things that are life-giving, that give back to you. Sky's the limit. You don't have to feel deprived. And I even feel that way. I'm just going to take a spiritual view. I am a woman of faith, and I love Jesus. And I'll say that. And hey, listen, you be you and I'm going to be me. And that's how we work here in Sober Sis. We have a lot of respect for each other, no matter where you're coming from. But for me, as a Christian woman, as a Christian wife, mother, I always felt like double down of like mom guilt, Christian mom guilt, and shame around my drinking. And it's because I always felt so limited. I always felt, oh, I want to drink, but I don't want to look affected. I want to drink, but I want to be a good example to my kids. I want more and I want less. I want more of this substance and I want more of freedom. And so I was in a lot of mental tug of war with myself. But the cool thing is, scripture talks about how the fruit of the Spirit is actually limitless. For any of you out there that just need to hear that this road, this journey is about freedom, freedom from alcohol, freedom from feeling enslaved and just trapped. And for me, that's what I've discovered. It's just freedom. Freedom in my own mind, freedom in my own body, freedom in my relationship with God, freedom in my relationship with other people. Because instead of trying to limit and squelch down this amount that I was drinking, trying to like not show that it was affecting me, now the fruit of being alcohol free in my life is limitless. I can show up all me 100% of the time. And even faith-wise, having the fruit of the Spirit manifest in my life without this big blockade, this big like blanket over my life, is how it felt for me. I'm in constant prayer now about staying sober-minded because I've got to say, for me, it was a partnership with God. I couldn't do it by myself. I couldn't do it by myself in my own strength, in my own efforts, or in isolation. And that's honestly what we're doing in Sober Sis, is we're doing it with others, and we're able to focus on that vertical connection with God, with the Holy Spirit, as well as horizontally. Because that was me, Mary. I was totally praying on my back patio, night after night, day after day, weekend after weekend. God, take it away. While I was holding on to the wine stem rather tightly, saying, take it away. And I think that he didn't want to just take it away. Again, I think if it would have been taken away from me, I would have felt deprived still to this day. I would have felt like it's something I could always, I think if I had deprivation mindset still, this would be me. I want it, but I can't have it. Okay, that is a deprivation mindset. I want it, but I can't have it. How many of you out there have ever said, I want to not want it? Okay, if that's you, this is what freedom sounds like. I can have it. I don't want it anymore. I don't want to choose that anymore. I don't even have a desire for it anymore. Now, I'm not saying I'm a perfect person over here and never have the desire to escape or numb out or change my feelings. But when I do, not if I do, but when I do, I don't even see it as an obstacle anymore. I see it as an incredible feedback loop. And I'm like, time out, Jen. What is going on? Pop the hood in your own life and go, okay, I kind of want to escape my feelings right now. What if I just name them? They won't have that kind of power over me if I can look at them and see what they are. So anyway, just from a faith perspective, I've really found that God wants to partner with us. He doesn't want to just take it away. I think he works with our free will and ability to surrender, just to lay it down and go, you know what? I still want it, but I want to not want it. God, can you help me do that? And then that's where our sisterhood comes in, because I think God works with what's real and with people. I need y'all. We need each other. And we are wired for connection. We just are. We're not wired for deprivation, isolation, performance. We just can't keep it up. I can't. I don't know about y'all. We're wired for connection and grace and empathy and understanding each other. And that's what we're doing in Sober Sis. So if that's what you're looking for in a sisterhood, that's what we're doing. We're just trying to lock arms and do life together, because life is challenging. Life is hard. It's crazy. And that's why I think the value of a sober mind is rising, and the value of focusing on what you do have and not focusing on how to numb out and eject is critical. Last point I want to make in this workshop, I just celebrated a huge milestone of 9 years alcohol-free this month in April of 2026. And I have to say, looking back, and I've been real reflective this whole month, just enjoying the process. It is a process. I did not experience this freedom overnight. It has taken me practice. It is taking radical honesty with myself, practicing staying in my own body, naming my emotions, just keeping it real and working on my mindset so that I'm not coming from a deprivation mindset, but instead I really am coming from that reward center where it's okay, what is truly a reward? What is life giving? I think a big key in this journey is celebrating small wins. I've talked about big milestones, but sometimes a small win is all you need to keep the momentum going to do the next right thing, just to take the next step. And again, in the reset, in the 21-day reset, that's what we're doing. We're every day practicing a new tool or a new mindset just to give you practice so you literally can begin to build that new neural pathway so that ultimately you can be there too, where you can want to not want it, and then you get there. I can't tell you exactly when it happens because it's different for everyone, but we've got a lot of sisters here in our sober-minded sisterhood who have felt what I'm talking about, where you can drink what you want when you want, and you don't choose alcohol because you just don't see it as a reward anymore. That is huge, because that was me. I valued alcohol so high. I saw it as being the ultimate reward. Like at the end of a long day, that's what I was shooting for. I was just in Trader Joe's this morning, and absolutely zero judgment on the women I'm about to speak about, because I was them. Several young moms with their cute kids with the little baskets. You know how as a mom you have your big basket, and then your little ones have the little basket. And these sweet moms. Oh, I love moms, partly because I am one. And I just think it takes a lot of work to be a mom. I think it's the most one of the most amazing privileges and jobs in the world. And if you're a mom, you can agree that sometimes it's a sacrifice. Absolutely worth it. But it's a lot. It's a lot of constant interaction with a curious kid, always asking questions. And sometimes they throw a tantrum in the store and you're like, no, not here. Anyway, I was watching these two moms just navigate at least 2 or 3 kids each. They had their hands full. And we were at the checkout around the same time. And both of these awesome moms, and I certainly don't discount their awesomeness, had boxes of wine and bottles of wine in their basket. And I thought, yes, I did that for years, where I was like doing all the things by day. And then at night, I was like, I could just make it to 5 o'clock with my head on. Then I can start to just woo. And what I didn't realize was how much I was sabotaging my own health, trust in myself, because my intentions were not that in the morning. And so I think celebrating small wins, having a group to do that in, and again, not feeling bad if you have a deprivation mindset, then instead we can just normalize that that's natural in our society. We're told that with dieting, we're told that with saving money, just deprive, just stop, just don't do it. And with drinking, it just doesn't work that way. You really have to focus on not just removing, but adding something good, putting in something different in the routine or the ritual. And then you're going to start moving towards freedom. And freedom, y'all, is what this journey is all about.